Challenges before Pakistan in addressing safety and security issues. Pakistan's delivery systems comprises of aircrafts and surface-to-surface missiles. The weapons are believed to be kept separate from their delivery systems, with the nuclear cores removed from their detonators. It has also been claimed by many analysts that the weapons themselves have been scattered at up to 6 separate locations. Therefore, the exact number of weapon storage size cannot confidently be ascertained. About the sensitive facility perimeter security, the central responsibility rests with the Strategic Plans Division. They have a multi-layered approach to securing the perimeter. The inner perimeter is usually taken care of by the respective organizations, but their security is now overseen by elements of the SPD. The forces of the SPD receive special training as compared to the normal forces. Certain facilities are also protected by the air defense elements. In some cases, the area is guarded off completely and designated as no-fly zones. The outer perimeter is protected by using various technologies like electronic sensors, closed-circuit cameras, and heavy fencing along the perimeter. There are also counter-intelligence teams that work on identifying external threats in the facilities. Another major source of security concern is security during transportation. The task of defending and protecting nuclear material is very complex, but it's even trickier when the materials such as spent fuel and highly radioactive sources are in transit. Recently, there were unconfirmed media reports which suggested that that's fearful of a surprise US raid, Pakistan had been shuffling its nuclear arsenal frequently in low security vans on congested roads. So this definitely does not do much to increase faith in them. The role of the US in protecting the arsenal. Hillary Clinton's statement that Pakistan cannot keep a mad animal in the backyard and expect it to only attack its neighbor highlight how Pakistan's nuclear weapons are a question of national security concern to not only countries in the region but also to the United States. Admiral Mike Mullen stated in 2009 that the US had invested a fairly large amount and has worked closely with Pakistani officials to improve the security of the nuclear weapons. The New York Times also reported actually that the US had spent over $100 million to train Pakistani personnel in the US, provide them equipment ranging from night vision goggles to nuclear detention equipments, and also the construction of a nuclear security training center in Pakistan. Therefore, the US has a very significant and elaborate role in securing Pakistan's military assets. And as mentioned earlier, the Personal Reliability Program and the Material Protection, Controlling and Accounting Program, which comes directly under the purview of the SPD, are also measures taken to increase protection. Therefore, the reasons why Pakistan felt the need to evolve into a nuclear weapon state is understandable, but the methods adopted to acquire them are definitely questionable. In the words of Major General Mahmood Ali Durrani, the nuclear weapon program of Pakistan was created through a philosophy of beg, borrow, or steal. Therefore, the concerns regarding the nuclear weapons started as early as the program itself. As far as the doctrine is concerned, Pakistani leaders keep reiterating the fact that they have a first use posture. According to me, this is very similar to the theory that President Nixon talked about in one of his books called the madman deterrence theory. That is, the basic idea behind it is to act or project itself as a very irrational actor, which will increase fear and in turn increase deterrence of the weapon. In a similar vein, it is likely that with the aim to strengthen its nuclear deterrence, Pakistan, in addition to the aggressive and risky posture, it will also adopt a delegative command and control structure. Although this may seem efficient during a time of crisis, in the event of a long drawn-out crisis, it might not be optimal. It is also evident that post the AQ Khan scandal, the military has quickly increased its influence over the command and control system. Not that it did not have any influence before, but it expanded its influence now. Now about the security. The question, according to me, is not whether or not Pakistan's nuclear weapons are safe, but it's more of the question of relativity, like how safe are they? Every nuclear weapon state faces the challenges to protect and safeguard its nuclear facilities. But it is in my estimation that the safeguarding is yet to prove its merit in Pakistan. This is because the basic factors required for the safety and security of nuclear weapons in any country, that is a rather peaceful environment, a strong political leadership, a neutral army, if not subservient army, secular ideology, are all absent in Pakistan. And in its place, there is a high level of terrorist activity, constant power struggle between the army and the political leadership, and also progressive radicalization of the society. Therefore, according to me, the odds are stacked heavily in favor of an incident happening. Hence, the state of Pakistan's nuclear weapons today and for a while to come can be described the way liberals describe the realist conception of the balance of power, that is, a state of nervous peace. Thank you.